my sheets with a brand new whip so cold, baby, help us. Dealing with lames, my culture. Too many snakes with a vulture. Ruin my sheets with a brand new whip so cold, baby, help us. Dealing with lames, my culture. Too many snakes with a vulture.
All right.
Ruin my sheets with a brand new.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Sforza. I don't know what happened. We're going to get this going here, but while they do, I'm excited to be here with you all, amazing rock stars. How many of you all heard me with the students yesterday? Can I see? Most of you, or half of you. Okay. And then some of you didn't. So I'm just going to, 10 minutes, the first 10 minutes are going to be the same as yesterday, and that's it. Because I only have one story, one upbringing. And so I am honored to be here in the presence of your greatness. I do get to do these all over the world. I can do it in English, which is what we're going to do today. También lo puedo hacer totalmente en español. También soy mexicano, ciudadano mexicano. I'm also a Mexican citizen, as well as an American citizen. I start off as a French teacher, as Dr. Sforza said. Alors, je peux aussi me présenter en français. De ma part, c'est pas de problème. Je peux faire toute la présentation, en fait. That's what I can do. I lived in Brazil. All right, and I love being in the Northeast because I always meet Portuguese speakers. Também posso falar português. Se tem gente aqui que querem falar, a gente pode falar depois. And this is my weakest language, and this is where I get nervous because I know this language group is here. Anche posso parlare un po' di italiano, non molto, ma anche così mi piace moltissimo. Grazie, grazie. Con il popolo mio, grazie. But we're just going to do this one in English. Is that all right for everybody? All right. Grazie. Oh, man, I'm always nervous when I got to, show what I can do. Oh, thank you so much. Yes. What was your name again? You checked me in. Sarah. A big hand clap for our wizard. Sarah. Sarah. Yeah. Oh, there it is. Ooh, there it is. I'm going to sing that song just for you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Now, I didn't grow up with any of that. I grew up in a small corner of South Texas called Laredo, Texas. Have you all heard of it? Yeah, don't go. It's a lot nicer here. Stay right where you're at. Now, I grew up 5 minutes from Mexico, so I have an American mom and a Mexican dad. Growing up Hispanic, we all have nicknames. But if you know the culture, you know that the names aren't like beautiful and champion. I was a heavy kid, and so my nickname was Gordo. Not everybody here knows Spanish, so I'll help you all out. Gordo means handsome. And they always call me Gordo. I hated it. My aunt would say, Gordo. And I said, why do you call me Gordo? And she said, it's because we love you. I said, I love you too, but I don't call you Monstra. Let me show you a picture. Here's me growing up. Oh, thank you so much. And this lady who is strategically cut out of every picture is my aunt, all right? So I grew up. 2 languages, 2 cultures, 2 worlds. Now, if you were here yesterday, and this is something that I'm doing when I travel, I ask how many have a home language other than English. It was easily over 50% here. It was mind-blowing. And this is something that I'm finding as I get to travel to all the 50 states. I've been to 46 out of 50. It's just this multiculturality, multilingualism. And growing up, it was a little bit challenging. I struggled in school. School was not easy for me. Now, I got to high school. Okay, this is me in high school. And if you grew up in the 90s or 2000s, this is every picture that we ever took. And it was always the same guy, for sports pictures, prom. He worked at Glamour Shots at the mall on the weekend. Same guy, same awkward pose. There were only variations. I feel like in the 2000s, it was more like put your hands on the chair, like this. Every picture. All right, go ahead, put your hand on your knee. Now look at the camera. Now smile. No, smile like you're laughing. Every picture, same guy. Now, what I'm about to share with you is nothing that I'm proud of. It's just what it was. High school was difficult for me. The first day of school, the coach said, I want you to join cross country. Then I said, Coach, I don't like camping. I didn't know what was happening. We had to read a book in Texas called Beowulf. It took me half the year to realize it was not about a wolf. I asked my teacher, I said, when's the full moon? She said, this is not Twilight. I feel like the younger generation will never know what it was like to go to the mall and purchase Cliff's Notes. How many of you ever went to go buy those Cliff Notes? Such a sketchy transaction. We walk up to the counter, we're like, hey, you got the notes. And he will walk you to the back where it was dark, and there was like a swiveling rack. What you want, man? Animal Farm? Huckleberry Finn? Give me the Beowulf. It was a sketchy time, man. Now, I remember when I was a junior, we had to take speech in Texas. It was a required course. And we were in speech class, and my teacher said, students, as you go into the adult world, you're going to have to know how to hold passionate positions about a topic and be able to respectfully and strongly dialogue with people who disagree. It's a hot topic back then. She said, class, today we're going to have a topic about euthanasia. I was so lost. I raised my hand and I said, ma'am, I respect all people, but before we focus on the youth in Asia, can we look at the youth in America? Because I'm struggling now. And she said, clearly. It's not easy for me, man, not easy. I failed 4 classes in high school, nothing to be proud of. But I have people like you. That's why to be in a room with you, I'm still beside myself. Because I have people like you who helped me get to that graduation mark. And for me, just getting through high school was a big deal. Now, after high school, it was the first time I kind of encountered this multilingualism and started to see what I wanted to do and my contribution. So I told the guys in my neighborhood, man, guys, I'm going to go to university. I'm going to learn languages. In the Hispanic culture, we employ a rhetorical device called hyperbole, which you all know is an exaggeration of the truth. And in this culture, many times to negate that same truth. I told my friends I was going to go to university, and my friends are like, okay, Harvard, here comes a master degree. Oh yeah, Master Garcia. Now, in that culture, if somebody exhales and sticks out their tongue, it means dream on. For example, David, we are so proud of you. Really? Congratulations, this letter says you're going to Yale. Really? It says you're going to jail. And so I'm sharing this with you because I was just around the age as the students that are in your classes, maybe a smidge older. And I was going into the adult world and I was facing these 2 realities. On the one hand, I wanted to go to university. I wanted to be successful. Now, my older sister was incredible in school, amazing. And my dad would brag about my sister. He would walk around and say, this is Lisa. Lisa is the golden child in this home. Yeah, my Mexican dad became British when he spoke about my sister. And he would say, and this is David. I don't know what his name means. His name probably means God help us. I don't know. Somebody do something. So I grew up like in this conundrum. Now, in that time, I grew up in a very stigmatized, if maybe you grew up in the same generation, you might have had some of that same, stigmatized educational model where we developed 2 groups of kids, at least where I lived. And there were the kids who were like gonna be successful and go to big universities, and there was the rest of us. And I had more than one teacher back then, different time, say things like, if you can't pass this class, what's gonna happen when you get into the real world? These are the best years of your life. I want you to be successful so you can go out of here. Do you wanna, and they would say, different teachers would say different jobs. Do you wanna flip burgers, work in construction? They would say jobs that they didn't like. And they said, if I couldn't pass their class, that's what I was gonna do. That's the model I grew up in. Now, I shared some of this yesterday. I will come back to this. But basically just this new revolution that we're in now in the 21st century, that we are already so far beyond all of this. But this was new to me, is that every one of us have a superpower. Every student we serve is a genius. And I want to take this moment, I'll probably do it at least 3 or 4 times. This is the first out of 4. To thank every one of you for using your superpower to help children, to help students find theirs. When you look at your strengths in life, I would posit that in this room, and Dr. Sforza he just goes on and brags about how awesome you are, and I believe it. This is the second time I get to be here in a few years. I love this space. And what happens in a school is dictated by the teachers. And so coming to an awesome school like this already tells me how amazing you are. And I would posit that your superpowers are directly connected to what you had to overcome just to be in this room. I want you to think for a second. Many times as successful people, we have so much. We're going to the next training, the next course, the next school year. That's why we're successful. And sometimes the tendency can be for successful people like you all, like us in this room, to sometimes just forget what we had to overcome just to be here. And if we think for a moment, what you had to overcome, the things that you had to do just to be in this room. And I want to take that a step farther. I would posit that many of the students that connect with you deeply also have a similar struggle. It's a powerful thing where we don't even say the things that we had to overcome, but kids kind of gravitate to that. Now, in a bit, I'm going to do some giveaways, and I have this book here. It's a little bit of the talk that I gave to the kids yesterday, 3 Keys to Find Your Superpower, and we'll go ahead and do some giveaways, and I talk a little bit about this, but here's where I want to park for a good portion of today. How do we find our superpower? How do we help students discover theirs? And it's the story. Now, I said to the students yesterday that successful people have successful stories, and that's what today is. Before the school year begins, today, we are already looking to where we're going to be in May, in June. And your students might look at you and say, you don't understand what it's like. You don't understand what I've been through. And I think a lot of times students see you and me as a teacher, and they think, oh, they have everything together. They have no challenges. I feel like my students think that I live in school, that I shut down the computer and have a futon and go to bed in class. And so how do we help students create a positive story? How do we create positive stories? Right here is slow down. See, and successful teachers, many of you, you've been here for 10, 15, 20 years. This is a skill as I'm doing teacher retention trainings, just this skill, how to slow down. This is huge, how to ease out of the day and transition into the next day. Now, I didn't know how big this was until my 3rd year of teaching. Now, everybody here has a story. I'm just going to share with you a little bit about my story. I was already a speaker for students going all over North America. And one of my friends said, David, you should become a teacher. Consider it, because the power that you have when you are with kids for a whole school year is something that you cannot put language to. So I took that challenge seriously, and I got certified to be a French teacher in Texas. And I remember I had 2 interviews in Austin, Texas. And I remember my very first interview. I could still see it. It was a big, imposing structure, like a big Texas-sized school with a big stadium, perfect landscaping. And I remember driving in. I felt like I was going into a college. And I drove in and I saw the cars, and I saw Lexus and Range Rovers and Jaguars. And I said, I need to work here because they pay their teachers. And then I saw the sign that said student parking. And then I got closer to the school and I saw Corolla, Prius, a bike. And it was a nice bike. It was a very nice bike. It was nice. It was just different. And I remember this was my first interview, so I didn't have a frame of reference for what was normal. And I remember the interviewer said, Mr. Garcia, do you know who comes here? People not only move across the city, they move across the state to bring their children to this public school. This is high profile. These parents are high profile. This school, if I mention the names of the children who come here, you'd recognize them because they are big in Texas politics. They're professional athletes. This school is filled with helicopter parents. I had never heard that term before. So when he said that, I was thinking, man, you guys also have a helipad here too? That's amazing. And so the interview was going on. It was not a good interview. And the second interviewer said, Mr. Garcia, being in such a place like this, we need to ensure all students learn. How can you ensure that you will differentiate for all learners? My first interview. And all I could think, and I actually said is, ma'am, please rest assured that this morning I just paid for a premium subscription Kahoot. Interesting. Okay, I think we have all we need here, Garcia. And I was like, great, should I call you all back? But no, don't do that. We have your information. Next day, totally opposed, totally different part of town. It could not be more diametrically opposed in terms of socioeconomic, geography. And I remember walking in, and this principal was that very archetypical Texan, that old school, that old generation Texan. I felt right at home because these are the kind of Texans who were my coaches, and they raised me. I walked into the room, and I remember the interviewer said, David, let me tell you something. David, these kids are special. These kids, they will touch your heart. And they'll get on your nerves too, but they will touch your heart. And if you want to work here, we would love to have you. And the interview went really well. And at the end, he said, you have any questions for me, David? And I said, sir, do you have helicopter parents? And he started laughing. He said, that is hilarious. That's the most hilarious thing I've ever heard. You're funnier in person than in your picture. And I said, thanks. And then he said, let me tell you something, David. These kids are different than that school you went to yesterday. We know where you went. He said, but these kids, if we don't bus them into school, they don't get educated. If we don't feed them, they don't eat. David, if we don't keep a tight structure, they will burn the place down. And I thought he was joking. I said, that's so funny. Until the other interviewer said, I forgot about that. I tried to block that out of my memory. And he said, but David, if you want to work here, I'm not asking for a lot. I just need two things. Number one, just show up. There will be days, they're few and far between, but there will be days when it's going to take everything for you to get from that parking lot to that door. And on those days, all I'm asking you is show up, because that's when the magic of learning happens. You realize that you've come to the end of yourself, but there is new talent you didn't even know you had. Show up. And number two, don't hurt my kids. Now, by that, I mean, don't put them down. Don't break their spirit. Don't let them hurt each other. Don't do any harm. Life has let them down so much. If you can do these two things, I don't need you to be the Hollywood hero and come in and save the school and turn around the test scores and then make a movie about it. Just show up and do no harm. Think you can do that? I said, I can do that, sir. He said, is there anything else you want to add? Because I want to recommend you for the job. And I said, sir, yesterday, I just paid for a premium subscription Kahoot. He said, I'm sure you did. That's really good, David. Here, I'm going to give you this book. How many of y'all remember this book right here? He gave me this book. Now, if you've been in this for less than 5 years, you might not know about this book, but he gave me this book. He said, if you read everything, this will put you way ahead of all the others in the New Teacher Academy. He had two. He gave me one. I even had the enhanced experience right here. I had the enhanced CD. And everything the book said I did. I read the entire thing. I have it highlighted, underlined, sticky notes, everything. Before the first day of school, I would look in the mirror and practice. The bell does not dismiss you. I dismiss you. Everything. I read everything the book said. The guy said if you go into a room and people are being negative, turn around and walked out. I would walk into a room. Other teachers were being negative, and I turned around and walked right back out. Everything he said. He stood at the door and greeted his students. I stood at the door and greeted my students. He had on a vest and a white shirt. I had a vest and a white shirt. I did everything he said. I even memorized the speech that he gave his students on the first day. I just took out this part right here because it was my first day. And at 8 a.m., my very first day, I stood up in front of my class, same speech. And I looked at all of them, 8 a.m., first day, first hour, and I said, I am a very skilled teacher. This is going to be one of the greatest experiences of your life. You're welcome. This year, we will learn 3 years worth of French in one. And I had 3 kids in the back, and they looked at each other and said, ah. Now, I had 150 students that year, 150 of students. And 147 were amazing. And the other 3 were also amazing and energized, very energized students. Their names were Christian, Angel, and Jesus. It was false advertisement. My experience did not match the expectation. But I went through that year. I went through the whole thing, and I got to the end. And one of my students, it was May, and one of my students raised their hand and said, Mr. Garcia, you said we were going to learn 3 years worth of French, and I haven't learned anything. I said, okay, Nadia, I got you. Je suis hyper fier de vous parce que cette année, vous avez appris toutes les choses. Vous avez même dépassé aux élèves de deuxième année. So I'm proud of you. You've done everything we talked about. You've even gone farther, and you're more well-versed in French than the second-year students. And that student looked at the others. I was speaking to them in French for a few minutes. She looked at the others and said, whoa, I understood everything. And I said, you're welcome. I didn't have a mic, but in my mind, that's what I did. And now I had a field mentor, and this mentor came 5 times that year. I looked forward to his visits. He was very encouraging. And it was also around this time in May. It was his 5th out of 5 visits. And he came and he said, David, I love coming to your class. I love coming to your class because you are one of the most positive teachers that we have. He would always tell me this. And so it was a 5th out of 5 visits. I really wanted to do my best for my field mentor. I had a lesson that I planned. I worked on it all weekend long. I even spent $7.99 at the Dollar Tree for this lesson. That was big for me. I got everything ready. And it was one of those days when you get to school and like the Wi-Fi is down and kids are all over the place. And the lesson did not go the way I wanted it to. And afterwards, the field mentor stuck around. It was my lunch hour. And he said, man, this has been a great experience for me coming to your class. If my grandson was in this school, I would want him here. And he doesn't even have any interest in French. And I said, so the lesson really wasn't that bad? And he said, the lesson was terrible. But there's one thing that you have that we cannot teach. Is you show up and you're positive and you believe in these kids. They can feel it. Lesson planning and all that's going to come. But this is the one X factor that we cannot teach. And he said, let me tell you something. People say that kids are not grateful. Kids are very grateful. They're very grateful. They are just late. Because the ones that you least expected will tell you next year when they walk right by your room, hi, Mr. Garcia. And everything that he said happened. The next year, students that I would have expected, I miss your class, Mr. Garcia, that's my teacher. And everything that the mentor said, it all happened. Second year was incredible. I would walk into school and kids were lined up. As I was walking, they would clap and say, there he is. No, come on, guys, come on. But it was amazing. And then something happened that happened for the first time and has happened many times to me in this profession. Something that I did not know happens is that many times in this profession, things shift. We have to move. We get promoted. Now, my assistant principal called me into her office and said, Mr. Garcia, what you've done with the French program is incredible. The program was dying, and now we have a waiting list for students trying to get in. Then she said this, we now need you to build up the social studies program. And I said, I'm not certified for social studies. And she said, we know, but we're going to help you. We've already ordered study materials. The other colleague, my assistant's going to help tutor you. And I said, I cannot do social studies. She said, but we're going to pay you more. So the next year I went to social studies. And here's what I didn't know in this profession that maybe many of you all know, is that in this profession, many times we can be new all over again. And this messed with my mind. I thought it was like a one and done. Things change. Kids change. Kids in 2025 are different than in 2015. And so I went into this social studies and I was lost. It was like being a first year all over again, where I had to work until 10, 11, study, do the content, get ready for the next day, and repeat. Now, I was struggling this year. If you're struggling and it's like April, cool. Just get to the end and that's okay, reset. But if it's October, I remember walking into my class and one of my kids had his head on the desk, one of my students. He was just like this. And I said, hey, buddy, hey, we can't sleep in class. And he looked at me and said, Mr. Garcia, whenever I come into your class, I get a really depressing vibe. And I told his other teachers, I said, hey, is he like that here with you? And they said, oh, no, he really likes your class. I said, what? Oh, yeah, when he gets to school, he's very dysregulated. And by the time his nervous system is finally calm, he just slumps down. He feels safe in your class. And I was thinking, well, can he maybe, I don't know, like just feel safe enough but not go to sleep? Like, it was a tough time. I was teaching on the presidents. Again, new teacher, teaching on the presidents. I had just finished Jefferson. And like maybe some of you, I have seen the Hamilton play. So in my mind, we were finishing Hamilton and I got inspired. I was thinking of the play where everybody was just singing and dancing, and then Hamilton got shot. And so I was thinking of the whole play. And so I told my students, ending the third president, I was supposed to finish. I was supposed to do the exit ticket and close the lesson, but I got inspired. So I told my students, I said, this is the end of Jefferson's presidency, but wait until we get into president number 4. Man, Alexander Hamilton always had his hand in the pot. And in fact, Hamilton's fiery personality prematurely ended his presidency. And one of my students said, Garcia, Hamilton was never the president. And I said, I know he was supposed to be, but he got off task. So don't get off task. Let's do the exit ticket and we'll pick up on number 4 tomorrow. It was a tough year. Now, in my school, we had a ceremony where we coronated the most positive, the most influential teacher. And what we did in my school is we had a pep rally twice a year. We brought that most influential teacher down in front of the whole school, and that teacher would get coronated with a magical unicorn helmet. It sounds funny, but all of us teachers wanted to wear the helmet to school. We all wanted the helmet. So I remember this January day, this cold, tough, dark January day. Y'all know those dark January days when you leave your house and it's dark. You get home and it's dark, and it's blistering cold. It was a blistering Texas 63-degree weather January day. Rough. And I think the wind chill took it down to 58. And we had this pep rally, and they said, students, before we finish, the winner for the most positive, influential teacher this term. This teacher is so awesome. Many students want to be in this class, but there's no room. Parents call us about this teacher. The magical unicorn helmet award goes to Mr. Garcia. And that's when I learned this. In this profession, our biggest impact, your biggest impact in this profession is oftentimes made when you least expect it. Think about how many times a student said, thank you for helping me. Thank you for sitting with me. Thank you for sitting with me and filling out that college application. Because in my own house, in my neighborhood, they told me that I could never get there, but now I'm finishing my master's degree. Think about how many times, if you're a coach, it's a powerful thing, or you sponsor a club. Think about when a kid says, that walk from the practice field back to the gym, when you sat there with me in the club and you said I had a future beyond professional sports, that I had a future even beyond this club, and you told me that I could get there, and that moment shifted my life. And us as teachers were thinking, I have no recollection of that moment. And that is truly beautiful, because it teaches us that it's not about having the perfect lesson. It's not about that perfect moment where we say the perfect thing to put them on a perfect trajectory. It's about the magic of showing up. The magic of showing up and letting kids know, I am here for you. I got you. We're going to figure this out together. In a world where there might not be a lot of structure, you can rest assured there'll be structure in here, right? And I think about how powerful this is. And I also learned this. This is when I slowed down, I was able to realize this. At this age, kids don't have the language. They don't have the language to say, thank you so much. I've never had a student say, Mr. Garcia, thank you so much for getting together before school begins and collaborating with your personal learning communities and looking at the scope and sequence for my learning. Thank you so much. I've never had a kid say, Mr. Garcia, I love your lessons because I never have to ask what we're going to do. When I come into your class, there's always a perfect agenda on the side of the board that tells me what I'm going to do. And when your class begins, Garcia, you start teaching, and the way your pedagogy perfectly depicts the I do, we do, you do is like nothing I've ever seen. And when class is going here, Garcia, you're teaching and you break us up into the collaborative learning process. And I'm working with my shoulder partner. And when we are in your class, we hit the highest level of blooms. I've never bloomed out the way we bloom out here in your class. Never heard that. Garcia, and your teaching is going and class is amazing. It's like I'm in an out-of-body experience and I say, I don't want the bell to ring. And that's when you say, guys, take out your device because we're going to end off with a premium subscription Kahoot. And we do the Kahoot, the leaderboard goes up, the bell rings, bang. I say, Garcia does it again. He went bell to bell. I want to be honest with you. I've never had a student ask me that or tell me that. These are the questions that my students ask. Mr. Garcia, what time does class end again? Or this question. Oh man, this one is the tough one for me. Did we do anything while I was gone all last week? Did I miss anything? Or this one hurts my soul. I know I shouldn't take it personal, but it hurts my soul. Mr. Garcia, didn't you wear that last Friday? Is that your new Friday suit? Right? And so, again, because at this age, many times, they don't have the language. So let this moment together here, let this moment be the thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for saying yes to this sacred profession and knowing that many times they won't say thank you, even though we're in their minds and we impacted them. Many times they don't say thank you. Thank you. Do I have Paris here, or this is just teachers here? Not just, but teachers. Are there Paris here? Paris, thank you. Paris, man, the power that Paris has. Yeah. The power that you have. I would not be surprised. Like I'm connecting with you in this, I'm connecting with your energy. I would not be surprised if like kids would say, man, I was able to understand the way you explain it in a way I never have. Paris, if you've ever heard kids say things like, I wish you were my teacher, that is them without having the language saying, thank you for helping me. Thank you for impacting my life. Thank you, Paris. Teachers, oh my God, I'm one of you. Thank you for saying yes to the sacred call of education. Thank you. Do we have SPED teachers? Are SPED teachers here? SPED teachers, oh my God, thank you, SPED. My word. SPED. Like, you are the SWAT team of education. Yeah, like, because education is tough, but you are like the special, like, I don't even think we should call you SPED. I think like special education, I think we should call you the Special Forces. And instead of SPED, cut it down, call them SPORF. Thank you. Right? Yeah. Like, think about how many times we are in a meeting and they're like, hey, is the SPED teacher here? She couldn't get coverage. SPED teacher shows up. Cool. We can start the meeting. Thank you. Like, SPED teachers, amazing. I've had situations in my class where like I can't help a student and the SPED teacher comes in. Alexander, are you using your text-to-speech? No. Mr. Garcia, have you read his accommodations? And I don't know about here, but like my standard teacher answer, like, is that like walk of shame? Like, well, I filled out 40 of them before the school year began. That's okay, Garcia, he's gonna be okay. Just use your text-to-speech. Everything is working. Thank you, Spey. You're like the SWAT team. All right, coaches. Do we have any coaches here? Let me see my coaches. Yes, coaches, thank you. My God. Like, and I'm sure there's data, but the data that goes back and says, like, the power that a coach had to impact the student's life. So why would coaches like do that? Like 10 months a year, like 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., 6 or 7 days a week or more? The answer is real simple, for the money. Like 35 or 36 cents an hour. Coaches, thank you. Thank all of you, all right? Dr. Sforza, thank you for this moment. Administration, thank you. Thank all of you for saying yes to this special and sacred call in education. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Now, I do have some like interaction, but is this okay for now? Is this all right? Yeah? Okay, it's all right? Okay, because I have some interactive stuff too, but this is okay? Cool. All right, thank you, one person. Okay, so in the national conversation, this is something that I've heard over and over. I've had the privilege of being around. I mean it. I'm so sincere. If I hope you can feel my sincerity. When I'm around you, when I'm around teachers, I feel incredible. I feel like the smartest person because I'm around you, right? This was hard for me, like even to get through high school. So to be in a room with you, to me, means the whole world. And I feel lucky enough to go to meetings, these national meetings where they have the national conversation in education. And there's so much happening. We all know about it. We all have the same Google. We all have the same MSN. And we all have the same information. One of the things that they say in the national conversation is this: kids need to see themselves in their teachers. Absolutely. I could not agree more. Kids need teachers who look like them. And teachers who may not look like them, but they care for them. So that we can say, maybe I didn't grow up the way you did. Maybe the way I worship or don't worship is different than you. Maybe my home language is different. Maybe I have different traditions. But in this sacred space, you can rest assured that I got you and I'm going to help you. I'm going to show up for you. All right? So number one, slow down. Number two, recognize it's universal. The things that we're facing, it's not just you, it's not just here. And I feel like people of excellence, as you are, we are reflective and introspective. That's what makes us masters of our craft. The challenge sometimes for reflective practitioners is sometimes we are so in tune to what we're doing, it's easy to forget that it's not just you. Like the challenges that you're facing are not just you, right? This lethargy that you might be facing, it's not just your students, it's not just you. Like even I was talking with an administrator today, and she said, man, after you gave the talk, the kids just came up to you and they just looked at you. So like if you talk to your students, you're like, hey man, how you doing? And they just do this. It's not just you, right? Simple things like reading a small passage. I'll ask my students, hey, will you please read this for 3 minutes? And then we're going to go ahead and discuss it in class. No, Garcia, I'm good. Well, what do you mean you're good? Like you already read it? No, I just want to chill right now, but I'll listen to it later on Spotify. Right? But it's not just you. This AI thing that we're all learning and navigating, like it's not just you. So in my school, we have a deadline when people can submit late projects or assignments, writing assignments. And so I'm aggressive. Like if I have one thing that I will brag about in my pedagogy, it's this: I'm aggressive in my pass rate. Like I pay the subscription for the bulk text and I'm texting students like to the last day, all right? And neither students nor parents love it, but hey, if you're in my class, I will text that thing until you pass. I will text you to passing, and if you don't, it's on you. So I'm bulk texting, and like a few hours before the deadline, in my inbox, I get these like dissertation type papers of kids who have done nothing all semester long. And I get these like dissertations, simple writing prompt. Talk about a conflict that you've overcome. And I get this like, in the totality of my experience on this earth. And I'm like, wait a minute, man, is it possible that maybe you got some extra help? All right. And so these challenges are not just in your classroom. These are things that we're all navigating. And if we're navigating it together, then we can get through it together. Think of everything we've had to overcome just in the last 5 years. Now, let me ask you all a question. How many of y'all have been in education for more than 5 years? Let me see. Okay. How many less than 5 years? Probably a few? No, okay. So most of you more. Now, I'm not sure what it was like here, but I will explain to you what I experienced. Now, this is not a trigger warning. This is not heavy, but I'm going to take us back to 2020. Not a trigger warning. Now, I knew 2020 was going to be weird. I already knew. I knew before the news channels. I knew before people were reporting about it. I'm going to tell you how I knew 2020 was going to be weird. I already knew. It was 2019. In my middle school, I was teaching middle school at this time. In my middle school, I don't know about in high school, but in my middle school, kids would look at each other in the classroom and they would just start dancing in my lesson. I was teaching and kids would do this. Hey, Garcia. And they would talk to me like it was normal. Yeah, no, it was cool, man. I was playing video games last night. It was amazing. We had people from all over, and they would just run away like this. And then come right back. And they would try to get me to do it. Garcia, try it. It's not hard. And I was like, all right, I got you. Oh, Garcia, stop. That's awkward. And I was like, really? That's where you draw the line? With the sprinkler? All right. I knew 2020 was going to be weird. I remember, man. I remember now. I don't know how many of you all remember. I'm not a superstitious person. How many of y'all remember that freaky Friday the 13th? I don't know how many of y'all remember that freaky Friday the 13th. I do very, very well. Now, I can't talk about every experience. I remember in my classroom, it was a weird day, and before the bell ended, my principal came on the announcements and did this. Teachers. Have you ever noticed, I don't know about here, but in my school, the end of the day announcements were like the scary one, because the morning announcements are like, good morning, faculty and staff. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. By the end of the day, teachers, please take your laptops home. We might stay home 1 or 2 extra days next week, teachers. Right? It's the freakiest thing, man. And I don't know if y'all know this. I thought this was everywhere. It's not until I started traveling. It's just in Texas that I've seen. But in Texas in the morning, they have the Pledge of Allegiance. And then we have the state pledge. Do y'all do that here in New Jersey? Do y'all do the state pledge? No. And I don't know it because that's like a newer thing. So I didn't grow up with it, but the kids all know it. And sometimes my students will look at me like to see if I know it, but I don't know the Texas, but I didn't grow up with it. So I have to ad lib. I'm like, all hail Texas. You are super blessed. Shine bright like a diamond. Like, I don't know it. But I remember this freaky Friday. Teachers, please take your laptops home. We're going to be out 1 or 2 days next week. I didn't know what was happening. And I remember all the things that I said I'm going to learn one day. I always said, oh, yeah. I'm going to learn Flipgrid one day. Oh, yeah. I'm going to learn Google Classroom. I'm going to learn Screencastify. Everything I said I was going to learn, I learned on Sunday. What do you think how amazing that is? Many of us went to university for 4 or 5 or 9 years for that first college degree. And we became online teachers like in a weekend. Like, that's pretty badass. That's amazing. In a weekend. I didn't even know what Zoom was. Right? My friends were like, hey man, are you going to be on the Zoom tomorrow? I thought Zoom was happy hour. I didn't know. I was like, yeah. All I want to do is Zoom. I didn't know what Zoom was. I had no idea. But I remember that Monday, that very first professional development. And everybody had that like stressed positive, like, hi, Oh, it's going to be wonderful. It's a new learning opportunity. It's going to be just like in the classroom. If you ask them to turn on their cameras, they will turn on their cameras. And the very first thing we learned was breakout rooms. I even have, this one I didn't read, but they have this whole thing, like the Keegan playbook for online. I need to read it, but that one I didn't have time for it. Now, remember the very first thing we learned was breakout rooms, and the presenter was like, it's gonna be so wonderful. It's gonna be just like if we're still in the classroom. I'm gonna teach you how to do breakout rooms. If you miss something, don't worry. It's all recorded. Go ahead and go to, some of you are laughing, you remember very well. Go ahead and hover over the gear icon and click on presentation mode. Give me a thumbs up when you're there. All the Zoom thumbs. Okay, now when you click on presentation mode, you're gonna see a drop-down menu. When you see the drop-down menu, you're gonna click on it and you're gonna see number of breakout rooms. I would suggest breaking them up into multiples of 3, 4, or 5, which means you're probably gonna have 3, 4, or 5 rooms. You can decide that on the spot or preload it, but if you preload it, you better be sure that you already have them ready the way you wanna do it. You can randomize or you can preset. Now there's also a timer. You can click on the timer, see how long you wanna be in the rooms. Now there's a broadcast message, so you as the main host, and if you invite a co-host, they can do it too. You're gonna broadcast to everybody. You can go in and out of rooms, so you can provide support or you can wait in the main room. You can also have a kid help you as a co-moderator, and this is the way we're gonna go ahead and do breakout rooms. Anybody have any questions? And I think the mode she was on did not allow her to see the chat, so she was like, great, there's no questions. Who's gonna be the first one to do it? And I was always motivated. Like I would create songs, I was always motivated. So on my screen, you just saw the little Zoom hand. Mr. Garcia, go ahead and lead us into our first breakout room. I can still see it in slow motion. I went to press the button and I ended our very first Zoom PLC. I ended the whole thing. I ended the whole thing, man. And I was always like that positive guy. I'd create songs for my kids at the end of the school year. So when that happened, I created a song just for that experience. I want to sing it for you all. It's a spoof off the J.G. Wentworth, okay? So here we go. Let's just make this awkward. All right, here's my Zoom song. I have a bad connection and I need Zoom now. Online classroom, 877 Zoom now. I don't know what I'm doing and I need Zoom now. Online classroom. We'll help you screen share and breakout rooms. 877 Zoom now. It's your classroom, so mute them when you want to. 877 Zoom now. Zoom now. Thank you so much. Thank you. I tried to share it in the next meeting. They didn't let me get back in. They removed me. And then, again, I don't know about here. I'm just telling you my experience. We went from that to a thing called hybrid. Did y'all do hybrid here? Is that a thing? People say, what was hybrid like? And when I try to explain it, it's like this. If you've ever heard the term the best of both worlds, hybrid is the worst of every imaginable world possible, because I was in the classroom and I had 4 students all over the room with plexiglass and I had a mask, so I couldn't even hear myself. I was like, and they're like, Mr. Garcia, I can't understand you. I can't understand me either. But go ahead and go to bench 4 because this is what we gotta do. And then I took a training. I don't know if you all have this here. It was like, apparently not everybody had this. I took a training where there was like a camera and I wore this thing on my neck so the camera could sync to it. This thing was huge. It looked like a Flavor Flav clock. So I was like walking around school like with a mask and like flaving out, like, and the thing would just like, and the camera was like, it would swivel, but I didn't set it up right, so it would like, and would just fall. And so the kids were like linked to the camera from the floor. It was like the weirdest thing. So I took off the Flav clock, then I said, I'm just gonna put the computer right here and teach over here. And then I realized the kids were just looking at my ear the whole time. So I would teach and kids were on my ear and I would get frustrated because nobody at home would respond. I said, hey guys, nobody at home is listening. And finally, one of them had the courage to put in the chat, Garcia, you're on mute. And then we went from that back to in person. Now, I was excited. In my school, we were excited because they left dancing. I don't know if they left dancing. So we thought like, man, it's going to be like High School Musical and the kids are going to dance and play. And, well, they came back. They did come back. They came back different. I don't know about here, but in my school, the kids came back, like they left dancing. They came back asleep. My kids came like wearing pajamas. I'd never seen this. Like every day became pajama day and like blankets, and they were wearing like Crocs and socks. They would just croc out all over school. I'm not putting them down. I'm not putting anybody down. I'm just saying, like this happened just like 3 years ago. And look at all the things that we figured out because we were in it together. And so when we recognize that it's universal, we did all this together, we can handle the new challenges together. Number one, slow down. Number two, recognize it's universal. And then number three, that's when you can reframe the story. See, everybody has a story. Every student has a story. You have a story. Your family has a story. And every story matters. And when we reframe the story, we're able to take the things that were struggles and make them strengths. See, in my story, everybody has a story. Please, in a bit, we'll get to share, and I'll let you share as much as we can all share. I don't have to talk. Like, I'd love to hear stories of teachers. In my story, I was the guy who failed in high school. Right before I graduated, my teacher said, Mr. Garcia, she said, you are going to have a hard time in college. And that teacher was absolutely right. She was absolutely right. College was difficult for me. It took me 9 years to get that first degree. People say, hey man, did you like going to school? I said, I loved it. It was the best 9 years of my life. It's crazy, man. I had a college graduation and a high school reunion, like almost back to back. It was crazy, right? But I was able to continue as a teacher. I have 9 teaching certifications. My 10th one that I missed, it was a 0 to 100 scale. I needed a 70 on a 0 to 100 scale. It was to be a SPED teacher. I got 68 out of 100 questions right. It's okay. It's okay. That's why I have so much respect for the SPED teacher. I almost made it. I didn't. But this was from a struggling student because I had you to help me reframe the story. And this comes back to this right here. Every student has this. Every one of us have this. And in 2025, I want to thank you. I want to thank you. I'm not saying something that you all are not doing. I'm thanking you for already teaching the whole student. I love talking to Dr. Sforza whenever I get a chance and just hearing him say, man, I thrive on multiculturality. I thrive in this environment where we have all kinds of learners and everybody, no matter how they get here, the outcome is the same, is success. And I want to thank you for being an example back then. I want to thank you for that, okay? On the other side of pain is power, right? And we're able to tell kids, I understand it's hard, but we can do hard things. I understand this is challenging, but I will help you do the challenging things. This is not positive talk. This is not positive toxicity. Being positive without planning, without acknowledging the challenges is positive toxicity. Being negative without acknowledging the power that we have to impact the present is positive negativity. And here we're not doing it. We're doing none of those. We're saying, yes, there are challenges, and yes, we can figure it out, okay? Every story matters. Every student needs you to help them create a beautiful story. If they are full-time employees, as you and I have had full-time employees in our classroom, young adults trying to finish their diploma, get their diploma or get their GED, or if they're full-time, if they're full-ride scholarship recipients, if they're preteens, or if they're young adults, if they have extraordinary needs or extraordinary talents, every student needs you. And for that, I am truly grateful for you. It takes all the villages. It takes every village. It takes the federal village. In this part of the country, you are very close and very in tune to what's happening on the greater picture. A lot of what happens here in New Jersey and in this part of the country impacts everywhere. So I know you're very attuned to what's happening. It takes the federal village. It takes the state village. It takes the home village. It takes every village. And in 2025, my conviction is that the number one X factor, in spite of all of that, is still a teacher, an adult who shows up and helps kids. We call in, we help each other, we take care of ourselves and we help each other, we take care of each other. We don't call others out who are struggling. We call in, we call up, and that's what this is about, is adults helping adults, teachers helping teachers, helping other kids. I told you about that principle. This is the very first year, and I'll come back to this picture at the end, but this is the last day when I had my checkout of that first year. And I'm going to end this time, and then I'll break for questions, and I'm going to transition into more of a workshop here type. But I'm going to end this portion with this right here. I'm going to end this portion, then we'll transition. And I'll also ask some questions. But this year, do the things. Build the superheroes, sit in the front, take notes, take the certification. If you have the privilege of teaching a new content, maybe the same way I was voluntold, do the thing full on. Let this year surprise you. This is how my career began. I didn't have a lot. This is the way I began. And this is now. I wish SPED was on there. These are my certifications. My next one, I'm going to have to leave SPED for a bit. My next one, if God will enable me, I want to go to principal school in about a year and a half. That'll be the next one. I don't know. Who knows? What's the worst thing that can happen? I don't pass that test. But I'm going to end this time right here, and then we'll transition. But I'm going to end this portion of it by telling you the same thing that I told that first group of students at 8 a.m. the first day. I am a very certified teacher. This will be one of the most fun PD experiences of your life. You're welcome. This year, you will have 3 years worth of PD in this 1 hour. All right. Thank you all so much. Thank you for this portion. That concludes this portion. Now, if you want, I have some of my slides. I have the questionnaire up there. Also, just resources. I have some stuff up there. So if you're interested, I have some slides, questionnaire to help people find their superpower. If it doesn't work, just come up after. Sometimes people are like, I couldn't get it. Is it working? Is it opening? Is the link tree? Okay, if it's not, I'll have it open up here, and I'll go ahead and share that with you all. So I'm going to do some giveaways, and then I'm going to transition. Please also know, just in case if it wasn't stated, I trust that every one of you know how to control and take care of your own needs. So, I mean, it should be unsaid, but if at any time you need to go to the bathroom or whatever, like, please feel free. This is your time. I'm not going to break because of the amount of time I have. I'm going to go straight through, but please feel free to take care of any needs that you have. Now, I'm going to do some giveaways. I did this with the kids yesterday. These will be some different questions. The unfortunate thing, well, this is unfortunate for us, but really beautiful. Afterwards, like, the kids surprised me. And they came up and they're like, do you have any more books? Which is like a new thing. Typically kids want like the t-shirts I give away. Do you have any more books? And so because I ended up giving everything I had away to kids, I'll have to mail these. So whoever wins this, I won't have this for you today, but I will mail it. I'll mail it here. It takes about 10 days on Amazon. And so here's what I'm going to do. Some questions. I'm going to kind of break up the room from right here, this group, right here. So you're my demarcator. This is this side. This is this side. This is not the best way. This is low-level blooms. Don't judge. But the very first hand that I see, I might get it wrong, first hand that I see, that gets the question right. Okay. According to this talk, when we are having those cold, dark, 63-degree weather days, all right, and we're struggling, what's one strategy we can employ to help ourselves just kind of keep on going? What's one strategy based on this talk? Show up. There it is. All right. Thank you. What's your name right here? Chef? Chef. Afterwards, well, I'll remember that. Chef, I'll remember that one. So say we'll write down your name. What's another strategy? Next hand. Okay, right here? Don't harm anyone. Very nice. Thank you so much. You dress like a star, man. You dress like a star, bro. It's amazing. Yeah. All right, over here, let's see. Fill in the blanks. According to this talk, everyone has a story in every story? Or raise your hand. Right here? Oh, yes. Yes. I appreciate you. You were super engaged yesterday. I told you yesterday. I thank you for it. Thank you. I love your energy. Let's see, one more. Fill in the blank. This side. Kids need teachers who look like them and teachers who don't, but care about them. Yes, thank you. All right, thank you. So if you all want to come down and just write your name afterwards, we'll give them and I'll send these books in. I really appreciate y'all. Before I continue, does anybody have any questions on what I shared? Any questions for me based on what I shared today with y'all? Okay. We're gonna power through. We're gonna go on through this next portion. Is that all right? Is everyone still doing okay? Okay, now we're gonna transition to turn and talks. And in this space, if you all have anything for me, or if you have anything you wanna add, this is the portion. That first hour is kind of keynote-y. I had about 20 plus of those keynotes all summer long. And so that's that keynote piece. But in this one, this will be a little more interactive. Now, before I continue, this is important for this last session. I just want y'all to know my biases and my predispositions. We all have these. Okay, number one, I'm not the expert with your data, your students, and your pedagogy. Okay, so I just want you to know what I share. I want to believe that I am an expert or trying to become an expert where I am and what I do. But I'm not like the one expert to tell everybody, this is what you should do. I don't know your students, but the good news is you're the experts. So I want you all to know this is my frame of mind. Number two, you're your own best coach, and you hold the power and you hold the power for the strength of this session. So this is going to be a little participatory. We'll do some turn and talks. I opened up my Kahoot. We'll see if we do a premium subscription at the end. All right. This is not going to be conducted in the same way you teach your classroom. You're not going to teach talking 1 hour. I say that because many times in these sessions, you go through these and you hear, I just want someone to teach the way I'm going to teach in my classroom. This won't be that, okay? This is for adult learners. I got 90 minutes, so this is not going to be that. Right here, two truths can coexist. I believe that, yes, there are things in education that can be challenging and it can be beautiful. I think that, yes, we can be in a time, this is my belief, we can be in this kind of strange time where there's so much happening that we may not have all the answers, and we can figure it out together. I believe this, okay? My great faith in public education in America. You see all the things that America has done since the beginning, and one of the longest standing, strongest institutions through all of our history is public education. It's beautiful. All right, it takes all the villages, I already said this, but I believe you're the greatest agent. Taking care of yourself is the least selfish thing you can do. No one of us is smarter than all of us. And shame and one-upmanship is against my spiritual beliefs. So just know this is what we're coming into for this final piece here. So let's just get into it, okay? Now this is from a book that I wrote, and it's called How to Be Teacher of the Year, or Just Make It to the Summer. And that's where I talk about that wild third year when I was struggling and I was winning an award. And so I really kept this. This is like, I don't know if y'all think I was just kidding, but this is a real conversation that I had when I began in that very first school. And it was the principal, but then the coach. I told the coach, I saw all the kids there. I saw the kids in summertime. And the coach is like, we open up the facilities all summer long. It was a beautiful mission where a lot of the kids, they didn't have a lot. The coach said, if we don't open up the school, they don't eat. So I said, Coach, that's awesome. Do you mean that you let them, bye everybody, bye. Is this Paris? Bye, thank you so much for what you do. No, thank you, please. Please don't stay, no, do what you gotta do. Thank you so much, Paris, I appreciate y'all. Okay, and so I just wanna know what was happening, okay. So the principal told me, he's like, hey man, we can't just let these kids run around. They'll burn the whole thing down. And so in that third year, in that third year that I was sharing, I had like 2 parts of the day. And surprisingly, my social studies classes were incredible. And my 7th graders that year, my French students, it was not the same experience. And so I remember with one class, I had to implement really tight middle school structure. I don't know if you do this in the high school, but this is what I did and this is the way it worked. I implemented a structure where I said, okay, we're gonna come in one at a time, because it got chaotic. It was not fun for anybody. And so I said, this is the way we're gonna come in here. I'm not saying this is what you should do. This is just what I had as the expert in my domain. So you're gonna come in one at a time. I'm gonna be at the door, I'm gonna let you in. And then once the next student, once the first student is already doing their writing assignment, next one will come in. And finally at the end, they said, Mr. Garcia, this is not fun. We know about your other classes. Everybody talks about how fun those classes are. And I say, hey, we can have as much fun as you want, but because of the way this class has gone, this is what we have to implement. And by the end, we were able to bring it back. Now, it was not fun, all right? It was not fun, but I learned this. If they weren't having fun, I wasn't having fun. If they were having fun and I wasn't, it was at the expense of learning. And so it was a tough thing, but I had to decide, all right, for this group, it was tough. It messed with my mind too, because I was new and I was winning awards and my mind was like, man, you're able to be successful here, but not with this group. And it messed with my mind, but I had to say, you know what? At least learning is taking place. And so a few things that I started employing, I'm not saying this is the way to do it, but a few things I started employing when they would all start talking, I had a chime. Things were getting crazy, bing, all right? I employed this strong structure, the way they could come in. I had to put down strong classroom management. Resetting expectations. This was so hard for me. This was painful for my soul. But I had to learn, hey, I don't have to wait for January the 3rd. I don't have to wait for September 3rd. I don't have to wait for a new marking period. I don't have to wait for Monday. I can reset on Wednesday if we need to. We can revisit. And I had to know that if I was gonna reset the expectations, they were gonna roll their eyes. They were gonna do the middle school grunt. Oh, this is so, we do this every day. I just had to say, you know what? This is what I have to employ in this classroom. So what I want you all to share with your shoulder partner, when things are challenging, when you need to ramp up the support in your classroom, what are some strategies that you use when things are not flowing the way you want to in your classrooms? What are some, I don't like the word management, but what are some strategies that you employ to help keep the structure going? I'll give you a few moments to share with your partner. Cos'è? Ciao! Non parlo molto bene, mi piace molto. Grazie, grazie. Sforza parla bene. Lui parla bene, sforza. Sforza.
Non le dico nada.
Oh, thank you.
But either teaching 41 meters. Sim.
Okay.
You were very good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thank you.
But also,
Yeah. 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 This is, and I think that's why I was.
in the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s.
I think this is why I was saying, like, I'm not the expert here. This is just reinforcing what you're doing.
Reinforcing what we're doing.
Yeah, and affirming and applauding. So thank you for the 41 years. All right. I'll give you about 20 seconds. Or 5. Okay. All right. So who wants to share with the group? Who wants to share with the group a strategy that your partner uses to kind of rein the place in, keep the place from burning down. Yeah, go ahead and, you want to mark?
He said that what he would do is just have the kids talk it out and figure out what was going on and then just bring it up to light to everybody if there was an issue and say, what's going on, let's figure it out together, and then they work it out.
Yeah, that's powerful. Simple.
Teacher of the year last year.
Yeah.
So talk about, as long as it's in a healthy manner, you're framing the conversation in a healthy manner.
I said sometimes it's hard for these kids to move on if there's a fight in the school, if there's some type of incident that goes on in the parking lot, have that lunch. So you just have to talk about it. And then as long as you frame it and you make it a healthy conversation and not a negative conversation, and you kind of make it a teachable moment, I feel like that's that big bump that they got out of their system. They feel like, hey, he listened to us, he understood us, and now he's letting us kind of move on to that next place.
It's powerful. It's powerful. I do have a follow that's so amazing. Yeah, they sometimes just to talk and be able to regulate it, it's okay. A follow-up question, and again, everybody's different. You are your own best expert, but for you in your classroom, when something happens like that, like, oh, did you see the fight or whatever, any of that, what would you say in your experience, when do you know, all right, we addressed it, but now we got to move on? How do you know it's time to move on from dealing with the issue back to class?
I think really it has to make sure that there's certain personalities are heard. There's certain personalities in your classroom that are very powerful, and they can be a nuisance or they can be very, very great if you rein them in. So certain personalities, by them sharing, they kind of can help the class a little bit better. Sometimes, certain kids just seem to have a bigger presence than others.
It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
That's just people in general. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anybody else want to share a strategy that you employ? This is like the thing that, like, in the national conversation, we need strategies. A strategy that your partner employs that works well for them. Who wants to brag on your partner? A strategy they employ. Is that your hand, or you just kind of, yeah? Let me bring this to you. What's that? No, that's, you're right.
Something I try to do just with things, maybe get off on task, I just try to actively engage them in something else related to what I'm teaching, what we're learning, and off of anything that is not related to what we're doing in the classroom.
That's huge.
So that's what I do.
That's huge. It sounds simple, but it's like improv, right? Just yes-anding. Yeah. That's what we do. Yeah. What content do you teach? I'm curious.
I teach career technology education, and I'm also the school library media specialist. My 30th year here.
Oh, fantastic. 30th year. Thank you. Okay. That's so huge, right? So, like, yes, this is good, and we're going to use this as a launching point. Like, just playing in the classroom, and this energy that, like, it's not anything can, like, I hate to say that there's no such thing as a dumb question, because we all heard the joke, but whatever. But how to say, like, no, like, you are free to step out and you're free to share that. And this is a great springboard to what we're learning. It's wonderful. All right, number 2, this is what I got for us. Oh, pardon me. This is what I shared yesterday. Before I get to number 2, I shared this with the group yesterday. This is the way the brain works, as we know in trauma-informed learning, is that your brain works like a backpack and it collects everything, right? All the stimuli that we've received. Because our brain is a survivor, our brain recognizes things that have happened to us, and it's out there to protect us. Now, I shared with the group yesterday with the kids, this is nothing traumatic, it's just what it was. But when I was, 6, 7 years old, I had a legal guardian at that time. It was a little chaotic. People didn't come and pick me up when they said they would. I didn't know if the plans were going to be fulfilled. That's not deathly. But for me, what that did is it created a little uncertainty. Now, cut to today, I travel for work. The other day I traveled through Newark. And if you're uncertain, like, all of that came back up, right? Everybody has this backpack. Here's this same kid, all grown up, same backpack, simple message, can we please reschedule? And all of this is resurfaced. Now, here's the thing, is in 2025, this, where things escalate and where you find this energy where kids are dysregulated, And not only kids, adults, all right? This happens quicker, it happens bigger, it happens younger and more often. And so coming back to, I don't know where it was right here, is this well-being. I think kids have a lot of understanding of mental health, but just being able to let them know, listen, well-being, mental health is not something that you have or don't have. It's something that is nurtured and built up. And just like physical health, right? God forbid I could have a cold, but if I gotta go to a job interview, I could put on a mask and do it. And so we're able to let them know we can do this together. We can talk through this and we can do the lesson. We can do both. And so this is an important skill that we all have here in this room. Number 2 is this right here. Prepare students for success in the university or just success in life. Now, again, the way I grew up in that old educational model, there was the university people and everybody else. Now, this right here is a chart. This is from Switzerland. I'm not saying this is the only way. I'm not saying this is the best way. But I went to Switzerland. I was 18, 19, 20 years old, very first time. And back then, English was not as universal as it is today. And that's why I was able to learn French quick. I wanted to meet friends my age. And I started talking to people. And I was like, so what are you going to do? You know, kids who were like 16, 17, what are you going to do for college? Kids who were 18, 19, where are you in college right now? And a lot of them said, we don't go to college. And I thought, man, like, my American, old 20th century American mind is like, don't you want to be successful in life? And they told me, no, here, only 4 out of 5 of us do not go on to university. The only people that go are people who want to teach, right? People who are scientists, right? There's very few degrees that require this. And everything else, businesses, banks, everything, they have specialized schools. A lot of them get this training by the time they're 16, 17. It's like what CT is now, what co-op used to be. But the whole system is geared for this. And this, again, I'm not saying this is the best system, but this shifted my thinking to, hey, like, university is important. I have 4 university degrees. I'm trying to finish my 5th one. I might get a 6th, and that'll be the limit. I'm very much for university. But there are a lot of pathways to success. And just being honest. And I think in 2025 that shaming and telling kids if you don't have a diploma, you're not going to be successful, that's kind of passé now. But just being honest with them that there are many paths to be successful. All right, I don't know if you can see all these numbers, but basically these are jobs that pay well. This is a national average. It would be higher here in the Northeast, but these are jobs that pay well that don't require this. Now, I'm going to come back to these questions, but I'm going to share with you two correspondence that I've had with kids. Shoot, is it not here? Okay, it's this one. This is one of my students. She was in my class in 7th grade and then 8th grade. She was a French student. Because everybody here knows French, I'll give you all a moment to read it. She had just graduated. She said, bonjour, that means hello. She said, I hope you're doing well. This is my name. I was your student at the middle school. Right now I'm the president of the French Honor Society at high school. I won the French competition 3 times, but last year I was the national creative writing champion. Now, French was not her first language. French was not her second language. It was her 3rd language. And she won the championship. She said, I want to thank you for inspiring my love for languages, for giving me a strong base of knowledge. In fact, thanks to you, I'm passionate about all languages. I want to study linguistic and computer information systems next year at the university. Even today, I still listen to the song that you used to play in class. Thanks for being a great teacher. She had several full-ride scholarship offers. Now, this student was a totally different student. He was 21 or 22 years old. Totally different experience. Now, this was more recent. I have now transitioned. I do credit recovery, and I help kids graduate. And as I was finishing, I'm telling you, I'm aggressive with my texting to get students to pass. And he's not even a kid. He's a young adult. I sent him this message. I said, how you doing in my class? How are you doing with your grades? Because he hadn't passed. And we got him to passing. And I said, how are you doing on your other classes? And we realized he was failing. So I said, you know, let me get your engagement specialist involved. Let me get the counselor involved. We want to get you to passing. And nobody wrote back. So I said, here's what you're going to do. You're going to send this message, copy and paste it. Send it to your principal. Send it to everybody here and put me in the loop. Finally, somebody got back to him towards the end of the school year. Now, I'm not blaming anybody. The end of the school year is chaotic. And finally, they got back and said, look, this is all he needs to do. He just has to do these credit recovery classes and he can graduate this summer. Now, this guy was 21. So I'm thinking, like, bro, like, just pick 10 days where you block out your schedule and you go get your diploma. And so I called him and then he said, I need to ask my mom what she wants to do. Now, I was a little perturbed, to be honest, because I'm thinking, bro, you're 21. Why you got to ask mommy what you got to do? Like, go get the degrees, what I wanted to say. But I asked more questions, and that's when I realized he's the only English speaker in his house. So when he's gone, right, he couldn't broker language for the household there. He was probably the only legal full-time employee there. He was the one making money there. And so for him, graduating, taking off 10 days would affect the whole family. And so he said, I talked to my mom, and she said, we're not going to finish, that she thinks we should finish until December. And I remember inside of myself thinking, I don't know if you ever thought that, where you thought, I got them so close to that point, and I don't think they're going to make it. That's what I felt. But I put a reminder on my calendar, and I wrote back, and I checked in that December, and I said, hey, just checking in. How did you do? He said, sir, I want to thank you. I was able to graduate. My family thanks you. Because for him, it wasn't just a high school graduation. It was the whole family graduating. And then he said, by the way, Garcia, aren't you that teacher who you travel to other places and speak to kids and speak to teachers and inspire them to help other kids? And I said, that's me. How did you know? Like, I'm thinking, man, I inspired him so much. He looked me up on Google. I said, how did you know? And he said, I think you showed us one of your videos in classes, but how do I find you on the internet? Here's what I'm getting to. For one of them, it was success in the university. For the other one, it was success in life. Because in this profession, we teach for the day, right? Like you're talking about meeting those needs for the day. Sometimes the day is different. They got to talk about it. There's big things happening. And we also teach for the year, right? It's not a either or, it's both and. But here's the big thing. We teach for 10 years and beyond. Taught for 30 years, taught for 41 years. I am sure that you have had many students come back years later and say, those are the lessons that helped me get there. Because when they are in boardrooms and they're dealing with people from other countries, they learn how to function multiculturally because they learned it in your classroom. So even though they might never thank you for scaffolding the knowledge, when they are leading teams and they're scaffolding so the teams can be successful, because they learned it from you. And so this is what we do. So here as we go, let me go back to these questions. I just want you to take a moment. You could feel free to share or not. And here are the questions. Because when we say to kids, education is the key to success, I believe it's a key. It's a very important key. I think there are many keys. But when we say that, here's really the question, what is success to you? And what do you think success is to your students? So that's the question. I'll let you do a little turn and talk. What is success to you, and what do you think success is to your students? I'll give you a moment here. What is success to you, and what do you think success is to your students? What do you think, brother? What is success to you? What do you think success is to your students?
I think it's just improving their confidence level, actually. Like, I mean, I teach math, and a lot of kids are like, oh, I'm bad at math. Or,
That's tough.
Have you heard it? Yeah.
I'm bad at math.
So, like, yeah, just just making them have a positive experience in class and more confident in their own abilities. Yeah. Not afraid to like struggle and try it. And seeing them overcome that at the end of the year, and that might just be passing. That might be an idea. It's different for everyone.
Right.
But just like I guess growing in some way with confidence.
It's powerful.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
And it's funny you were saying earlier, like this is gonna be your best. I actually do say that. Like
You should put that expectation.
My energy, like I explain my family, like I connect in residence. Like a lot of
Thank you, man.
kids and see your genuine.
They see it.
Like
They see it.
they want to see like the more genuine you are and show you care about them. Your content, you're not going to teach any content if you don't establish response.
Yeah.
It's the human connection.
And they don't. And it's power. Like, I guess you've been in it for enough to realize in the beginning when you come like that and they roll their eyes and all that. It's like, oh, maybe I'm not reaching. Yeah. But once you realize, hey, don't trust the eye roll. Don't just do the thing. Yeah. Do the thing.
Well, it definitely gets easier. This is a hard profession.
Yeah.
But try to boost up like the newer teachers and whatnot.
That's powerful. We need that.
It is, yeah.
That's powerful.
That makes me feel better. It makes them feel better.
It's a sense of calling.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
It's a powerful thing you mentioned that. So I failed algebra.
Yeah.
And I'm terrible. I know if I had to do it, I can learn what I have to.
Yeah.
But one of my greatest experiences was that algebra one that I failed. And it was a different time. I think now if somebody tries, like, give them the 70. She gave me like a 67. I had to redo the thing. But that moment was so powerful because the confidence. Yeah. When I went back the second time, I was like a junior or senior taking algebra with freshmen. Yeah. Killed it. Yeah. But that's when I was like, oh, I can be shitty the first time. I'll come back the second time and crush. Right. Exactly. And that lesson is powerful.
No, like you said,
thank you.
It's not just in the moment. It's years.
Right. All right, about 10 seconds here. About 10 seconds. And we're coming for a landing here. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2. All right. Who wants to brag here, or who wants to share? This is not a brag. Who wants to share what is success for you, and how do you perceive that that's the same and different than success for your students? Who wants to share? I know teachers love turn talks. Oh yeah, I want to share. But who wants to share maybe what success is for you and how that's different? Yeah. Let me see. Let me get you the mic. If that's okay. Just so everyone can hear you. Everyone can hear your brilliance.
I always believe success is finding happiness, being positive, having finding a positive internal dialogue, and also be self-actualized. And I think some of the students, they might think of, becoming maybe an NBA star, making a lot of money. But, to be happy, to find positive thinking, being self-actualized is something that I think we should give to our students. And so I believe that success is to, as a teacher, is to try and give a positive mindset to your students and try to give them confidence. Know that if you have like a learning, let's say, I hate to say disability, or even impairment, a learning difficulty, you can overcome that because your brain is malleable and it can change. And you're not there yet, but you will get there. That we all have problems. We all have difficulties, but we can overcome it. And to give them the confidence. And I think part of being a teacher is also being a little bit of a counselor.
Thank you. So, what is your name, sir? Peter? Yes. Outstanding. Thank you so much. It's so powerful. Thank you so much. I had a very similar conversation right here with this outstanding math teacher. Same thing, that confidence, that self-actualization. And may I ask what content you teach?
Oh, I teach a special ed.
God bless you. Man, all of you, all the work we do, it's amazing. And just thinking about that confidence piece, and I was sharing right here, can you remind me of your name, sir?
Jason.
With Jason, algebra was one of the courses that I failed. And it was a different time. It was not like, you got a 64, but you tried hard, we're gonna bump it up to a 70. I don't know A lot of people do that. I'm not saying I'm either for it or against it. It's just what people do now. But back then it was a different time. And so I had to redo that algebra course. And doing it again as a junior or a senior with a bunch of freshmen, just a few years difference, but at that age, you're like, oh, I don't want to be with these little kids. But doing it the second time, having the confidence, the second time I got like a 90 something and I was helping other kids. And that experience taught me that, oh, I can struggle and I can not be good at something, but the confidence that I had from that teacher that I failed, it kept me going. And even though I didn't get a passing grade, that gift, right? Because many times now, like being in college, the first degree, 9 years, saying, okay, it just takes me longer, but I'm gonna get there. And that is so beautiful that you mentioned that self-actualization, even that language. I'm not sure if a lot of the kids even know what that is, right? But like you see all these NBA stars that you mentioned, and they're talking and they're like 25 and I have $100 million and I have the mansion and I have the championship ring. And I realized that there was more. And that's a beautiful thing. And thank you, Peter, because we know at this age, they're not gonna get all that right now. And we're not, it's not that I don't want to say we're not responsible, because I'm not taking away the pressure, but our responsibility is to make them aware and plant that seed. And so thank you so much for that. Thank you so much. Here is thank you, Peter. Let me go ahead and finish here. I don't have all of these. I'm just going to come into the ending because of our time. And I do want to say this at the end, if anybody wants to come with my videographer, Mohammed, and do a testimony, he's the gentleman on your back right shoulder. If anybody wants to do a testimonial, we'd love for you to come. He'll be here for about 10 minutes. I'd appreciate it, but no pressure, just if you want to. But let me finish here with this, and then I'll give it back to Dr. Sforza, okay? I'll even go through all of this. I'll finish this right here. This is the value that you hold. And I'm just jumping to this because of time, but also because of your contribution, Peter. Thank you. This is the value of a teacher. It's not just one job, it's 10 jobs, at least. All right? All of us, you're masters of content. And with all of the artificial intelligence, which can be helpful for all of us, it can never replace the true intelligence of you being in a classroom. I don't know about you, but whenever I call customer support or text customer support and it's a chat box and they say, have we resolved all your issues? I'm angry. I need a person. Nobody can replace you. Number two, in 2025, we're all security guards. And I'm not even talking about like the big things. I'm just talking about like on Friday after lunch when there's drama and he broke up with me. And you're like, all right, get to class, get to class. All of us, we're all security guards. We're all first responders. We all have to know how to help kids in a moment, all of us. We're all life coaches, kind of like what you mentioned. We help them when kids come and say, hey, I don't want to be a doctor, but that's what my dad says I should do. That's what my dad or my mom say successful people do. And we're able to just probe and say, well, what do you want to do? Where's your truest self? All of us, we're all salespeople. If we can't sell it, we can't teach it, right? And we know that, I don't know about here, but every 2 years in Texas, we have new legislative sessions and we have new House bills, and I'm not going to get into all of it, but there's some new House bills that just happened, and we're like, what? And we got to show up and be like, hey guys, we're still going to learn, all right? We got to sell it, and those things are out of our control. But being able to sell what we're teaching, all right? We're all public relations and marketing. I remember the COVID year. I remember that year very specifically. I had a parent who was a very I would say she was a little bit too strong. And one of the conversations, that's my opinion. She might have a different opinion, that's okay. But she called me and she said, Mr. Garcia, why can't my son learn in your class? You only have one job. I was like, oh man. And my conversation A, which was just for me up here, was like, by the time he gets to school, he's so dysregulated, it takes the whole class period to help him calm down, and the bell rang. But what I said was, I understand. What can we do to help him learn? I remember COVID happened, same parent, Mr. Garcia, Carlos can't learn at home. And I said, I understand. What can we do to help him? In my mind, I'm thinking, you only have one student. But because we're public relations and marketing, said whatever you need to help him be successful. We're all managers. We're all IT tech. We are all artists and entertainers. You ever see a skilled teacher? It is artwork to behold. And lastly, is the sacred calling which nobody can put a price on. So for this, I want to thank every single one of you. I want to wish you your absolute best school year ever. And with this, I will turn it back to Dr. Sforza. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, David Garcia. I'm just going to keep this short because I know some of you have to pick up your kids, but it's always inspiring when somebody else comes in, shares their story and their passion that we share every single day with our students. So just another round of applause for David Garcia. You all have a great weekend. Thank you for a great start to the week and to the year.
Thank you so much for your input. Thank you. Thank you so much for your input. Thank you.
I'm Dr. Sforza. I'm the superintendent of Beckton Regional High School District, located here in northern New Jersey. What's unique about David Edward Garcia, first of all, this is the fourth time we brought him back. He was here for student presentation a few years back. And one thing that I thought was extremely unique from the onset, what I tell teachers all the time, and he kind of talked about it today in his presentation, is you're entertainers and you have to entertain students. You could have somebody at the front of the room teaching students about paint drying, but being super entertaining, and those students will be on the edge of their seats. In addition to, and that's David Garcia. In addition to that, he adds levity to the presentation, and he lets students laugh. And whenever you add that form of communication with students, it lightens the mood, and they get engaged and inspired by the message that he's able to share with us. So he's funny, he's entertaining, he's real, he's original, he's authentic, and that's what we're all about here at Beckton Regional. So we brought him back, and we brought him back for our teachers and our staff members this time, which was pretty awesome, and he rocked that out as well. So I would say the biggest similarities between the talks for kids and talk for staff are the fact that he's able to engage them in a meaningful and authentic way. And of course, he's a comedian, so he lets them, both see the comedy side of education, and I think that's definitely the similarity, including his story. He tells his story, which is real. It's from the heart. You can feel that. You can feel his passion for the subject. You can feel his passion for our business, which is education students and inspiring students. The differences, of course, is the fact that he's relating to students, so he's got to create and craft a presentation that is directly related to what they're experiencing right now in high school. And in our high school, super diverse. David comes from a diverse environment in Texas with Mexican and American parents. So he's able to relate to our students, and that's what's special to us. And with teachers, of course, he's a teacher as well. Impressive 9 certifications, going for his PhD. That's all good and well, right? I tell people, the DR in front of my name isn't something that I always strive to be, but I needed people to take me serious at the time, so I got it. But I always knew the content. David knows the content. He's getting the DR in front of his name, so people understand, and the people that need to take him serious will take him serious, but he shines with or without it. So yeah, that's the difference between the students and the teachers. He knows his pedagogy, he knows his teaching content, and he's able to relate with the teachers with that. With our students, obviously, not only does he still teach high school kids and adolescents in general, but he's able to relate to the students in so many different ways because of his own personal story and his background, and his just love of investing in every student every day and doing whatever it takes to make it happen.